Hello, everybody. Doug here from 2 Plus Stuff, and today I am hanging out and doing some hobby progress. Let me turn some music on. Somehow I forgot to do that in my haste. But my wife and I went for a nice little morning walk today. Had a wonderful time, and I felt a little bit inspired to hang out and do some hobbies. So I have a work project that I'm working on that I would love to share with you. But in addition to that, I'm doing a Stormcast. I've never actually built a Star Drake. I've only ever seen them on the table like from my opponents. I've never actually had one. So I'm doing that today. I haven't decided if I want the mouth open or closed, so we'll work on that together here. Let me just get some tunes going. There we go. All right. Flying Irish, I see in the chat. Thank you so much for saying something so I know we're working. Good day. Good to see you. Thank you. Thank you. And I'll show you what we are working on here. Let me just get my chat in a place where I can see it. And we will go to the downward cam. Okay, so one game that I was introduced to at Adepticon and I was just absolutely fascinated by, and then I started talking to the company afterwards. This is a game called Marcher. It is a alternate history, sort of blends World War One and Two together aesthetically. Essentially, the idea is that humanity hit the Industrial Revolution much earlier, and so those events, it's a lot of like technology exceeding civilization's ability to change. So that's why it's kind of a blending of World War One and Two. There's one big Great War. This is the U.S. force. You have this guy who has like a gas mask, like a light powered armor. He's got like a classic submachine gun. These guys are actually engineers, and one of the cool things about Marcher as a game system is like you essentially, when you're in list building, create resources, and your engineering team can go and like set up fortifications to put up breastworks or trenches or whatever you guys need. So like your infantry is there to fight. There's also these big mechs that are incredible. Hold on, let me show you this guy. This is the Big Papa. That's the heavy tank right there, or heavy walker. I think it's called the Lynx Battlesuit. But yeah, these guys obviously there to be high damage dealers, your infantry to claim objectives, and then units that are on the side, like these support ones, dynamically change the battlefield to make your other stuff better. So I found it to be super interesting. And they reached out to me afterwards, and we were just having a great time chatting. They sent me some models, so I'll have some content for them coming up. And then, in the background, as I mentioned before, I also have one of these bad boys, because I did a recent market day event thing where you sell off used stuff, and Chaboy cleaned house, so I treated myself. So let's get some paint on these guys. I see the chats. Hello, Elbert. Oh, hey, what's up, Jack? You're doing good. What was I going to do next on these guys? Probably the face masks. Let me grab. Hold on, I'm hunting for a color in my little bin here. Charcoal. I love charcoal because it's like not quite true black, so it can still have shadows and stuff. So, I thought this would be a good time to chat a little bit about all of the Doug Building 2017 models. That's the way to do it. 10 years behind the time, every time. But yes. Okay. Adjust my light here. I was going to ask everybody's opinion. Are any of the new GHB rules bits, are any of those standing out to you? On my channel, I started with the first week of content, but I did not realize the scope of what they were doing, and I did not sign up to dedicate my entire month to cover an episode. After the first week, I was like, oh no. Just kind of petered out, but I'm still paying attention to what they discussed there. So far, to me, the Blades of Corn is really interesting. I'm interested in the Stormcast one because I like the idea of the heroic, or their finest hour every hour. I'm here for that. But beyond that, I didn't really have any like strong opinions. The KO one, at least amongst some local players, seems to be kind of a... It's got strong fart in the wind energy. How about that? It occurred to me these guys are wearing gloves. So I'll paint them black. And then I'm going to paint the gun silver later. The black is just a foundation there for that. I like the little shorts. Oh, I like the little shorts when they read this stuff. Yeah, that's been fun. Perfect. I'm so excited to get the bases like with a pure black, just so I can kind of have the models visually pop off a little bit. That always helps me. The all-out stuff is interesting. Yeah, you know, I like the all-out attack. I think it actually works with the name it's got, right? All out. It's no defense. Just jump right in. Love that. The defense one was interesting to me. So if you don't know, the defense change they made is that you only get all-out defense for that particular combat interaction. So like if I put all-out defense on a unit, it doesn't have that for the rest of the battle round or whatever, you know, that combat phase. Instead, it's just for that one fight, and then somebody else can come up afterwards and be able to pop that unit, and now they can't use it. Which I suppose I like for the sake of games not getting bogged down, but I also feel like a common criticism of that stuff is like way killy now. So taking away defensive measures was like, but why? Can't speak to that myself, don't really know much. I was hoping if I don't get the what is it? Star Drake built during this stream, I was going to take it to game night and just kind of hang out and chat with people while I built it. I'm going to go back with a white and clean up all of these logos and stuff later. But otherwise, that's what I was hoping to do tonight. We'll see. I don't know if we'll be part of our lore section in the next book or something. I don't know. I remember when they did the Malign Portents thing, they made an actual physical lore book. I still have mine buried somewhere because I thought it was really neat. They only did it once, and I think the booklet was only at Adepticon or Nova or something. Maybe this is an alternative to that, was my point. You would think a whole bunch of a series of TikTok videos that can be digested in any order would make for a very confusing promotional platform, but I don't know. If there is a central landing page for all of them, I'd like to know. I think I'm trying to think. Ones that really stood out to me. Well, I still, after all this time, I still think Skaven so far is the winner. In terms of the amount of interesting things added to the army, the overall reception of it by its player base. I haven't heard quite the same exultation as on par with Skaven learning that the Screaming Bell can potentially be a Nahul, where like the entire community was like at once, yes, it should have always been this. Everybody else is like, oh, that's an interesting idea. Yeah, let's try it, which is like great, but not the same energy. Dum, 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 dum. Let's see. Pop out the chat. I'm looking today. What do we got? Today was the carriage and overlords. That's right. Yeah, at I'm gonna check out the corn one again. Give me 1 second. Pulling it up on my end. Oh. Let's see. What surprises me is Cities of Sigmar, because Zenestra basically becoming a Sigmarite Green Knight after disappearing out of Emberguard. Yeah, that one. I was like, why are we doing this? Oh, that's right. They got a new Prayer Lord. That was their big thing. I love it. I love it. Oh man, Prayer Lords are like, that's a great, what a good get. Yeah. Well, they also, I feel like they really wrote her into a corner, wrote themselves into a corner with her. I don't know. I'm just like, okay, but she seemed utterly incompetent, and then I'll use the word dastardly when it came to like just ditching her people and ran away. So like, she has to either have stellar rules or a model that won't quit or something, because like right now she's not winning the lore competition in terms of likability. We wanted someone who was just wrong all the time. We could just play Teclis. Let's see, we've got face mask. I think after this dude, I'm gonna pause. Start building up some Star Drake stuff. There was a mystery with the old wheel religion in the ruins of Emberguard, plus a dead cinder god that was eaten by Nagash. I'm here for it. Pix or it didn't happen. I will say, I adore the idea of there being multiple minor death gods that, like, if they're trying to think of a way to have death be the resurgent villain again, like obviously he was for the Soul Wars or whatever, I think the narrative of a whole bunch of minor deities of death, so like maybe they make a Duarden one, or they just reassign an existing Duarden character to come back or whatever. Did any of them represent death? Like I know Valea didn't, but maybe we can repurpose her to be like more of a Valkyrie type thing, of like a worthy afterlife kind of a judgment character. But like basically have a bunch of death characters from around various factions, their versions of death, be like, screw you, Nagash, and try to basically rise up. Because it'd be cool, because then you could have new Ruination Chamber stuff, because Morda would be able to come back as Mor. Or, you know, channeling the old world character of Mor. You could do something for Duarden. Maybe there's a Sylvaneth character that's more about like the cycle of life in a positive way than Nurgle kind of a thing. Or, you know, their equivalent of Afterlife coming back. I think that would be a cool idea. Alright. So. Dragon. What the dragon? Here we go. But yes, I think that would be a really cool way to have Nagash kind of be back in the spotlight in a way that, you know, maybe he's making moves to shore up the last of the death gods kind of a thing, so he is the most supreme. Hold on, I'm just making room on my platform here. Otherwise, if I start to feel claustrophobic, hobby progress diminishes precipitously. Okay, follow steps 1 through 15 for all variants. Okay, wow, this looks like a 2017 construction. Oh, that's so cute. It has the old first edition rules. Oh, that's just adorable. Look at that. Children we were. Okay. Let's see, where are you? I've got to find the one to start with. Let's see. That would be funny if Death Gods came back while Nagash is still on his hangover from Teclis bonking him. That's a fantastic reason. Yes. Yeah, everyone got together and was like, this guy? This is the guy who usurped us? I'm trying to think of a way, like, other grand narrative plots to get some other factions involved. You know what I mean? Like, as much as I love right now, that's the Hour of Ruin. I love Order versus Chaos is sort of it's the setting, right? Just like Imperium versus Chaos, I feel, is really the crux of 40k. And also there are orcs and Tyranids. Let's see. Oh wow, these bits are spread to the wind. This might not be a fun one to do on camera at all, or it's just me searching for bits on a sprue. Nope, shouldn't be anything from there. What do we got here? Aha! Nope. I just missaw it. But yes, I would be super into all the Death Gods coming back and then just trying to punk Nagash. I'm trying to think, what does the next step for destruction look like? I don't want another Kragnos, meaning like another, you know, out of nowhere character that's awakened kind of a thing. Think, I mean, as much as I just said I don't want another character, I'd love it if there was some, he doesn't have to come back himself, but something happening to make it seem like Gorka Morka is imminently returning. How about that? Because every single one of those battle tomes has a bit about, like, they get all riled up whenever they think about the idea of this final wall, whatever that looks like. Whether you're an ogre, whether you're an Ironjaw or Grot or whatever. something happening to, like, you trick them into all thinking, it's happening now, isn't it? Usharan can be preparing a coup when he is not in his cookie grandpa state. This is true. It's true. I would love if he shared the light a little bit. I'd love to see... They kind of left it ambiguous if Arcane the Black had some ulterior motives for some of his stuff. In a few books where it's like... We know that he's like sycophantic to Nagash, but... Is he getting that kind of opinion of like, my lord does not know what he wants. I know what he wants kind of a thing? I would like that. That'd be an interesting curve. Where he's not wrong, but he's also disobedient about it. You know what I mean? Like, Nagash does want X, but maybe not X done in Y scenario or Y way. Something like that. Or you could have them pass the torch. For example, boom, there's Nagash trying to be God of Undeath while everyone's fighting at him. Then, his last big spell, reawakens Behemoth. All of a sudden, Sons of Behemoth are back on the front stage. Now we have a giant zombie. A giant zombie giant. And scene. That's my idea. That's what I'm going with. Zombie Behemoth. That's how we get destruction back in the limelight. Arcane is kind of the big brother of the Mordarks. Restriction can be a new faction, non-chaos beastmen. So, but see, here's the thing though. If the Drogruk came back, that's, if you guys don't know, that's Kragnos' species. If they came back, would he still work with everybody, or do you think that he would make? Would he? I'm sorry, hold on. Would he be as ubiquitous for everybody, or do you think that he should make more sense in his own faction? Because that fundamentally changes the nature of Kragnos, too. Then I feel like we would go back to needing an explanation. Why is he here and not with his people? His peeps. I'm not poo-pooing your idea. I hope you know that I'm workshopping with you. I'm curious. Yes, Arcane is the big brother Mortark. He is definitely the okay, everybody, you heard what he said. I didn't realize this guy was like totally hollow. He's like hollow like the Glotkin. Not quite as bad. That dude's Humpty Dumpty, but I thought I was going to have to do a lot more building. This puts to get most of the torso together. Maybe he could become more tempered because now he needs to protect them. Oh, I see what you're saying. Interesting. I personally would love it a lot if Gorka Morka had a chosen champion, right? Kragnos is his own thing, right? Whether or not they perceive him as an aspect of Gorka Morka is up to each individual warband. But like, Gordrak kind of had that role, and then it just kind of like was like, I'm not even sure if that means anything anymore. Like, well, is he a super badass or not, man? We're leaving the dude in the lurch like that. It's probably easier to... This is an awkward one. Okay. Maybe, let's see. That's the plan of Croak, since he's always playing 4D chess. Yeah, I guess. He does always seem to know exactly what's going on in a plot-relevant and timely manner. I'm just waiting for one joint to dry here, and then I will get back to it. It's going to go right there like a puzzle piece. I would love that, personally. Come to think of it, I want new stuff for the Seraphon. I've never been a big Seraphon guy. Like, even... I was more intrigued by them as the lizard men of the old world when we knew less, I guess. I thought that was a really cool, unique direction. And the Demons of Light, essentially, is what they are at this point. I just wish there was a little bit more to chew on. You know, like, mystery's great. Love mystery. But they don't show up enough to leave me, like, thinking about them a ton, even when they would be relevant. Character can only be as smart as their writer. I suppose so. We still don't know what the old ones are. This is true. Nine, 10. Let's see. Things that I would like to see happen. I still haven't forgotten about Korgus Call. I want to see him. His own model. His own themed... Oh, no, wait. Themed. That's not theme list. Army of Renown? Are you planning, or do you already have an army for Old World? Daikon, that's actually a really good question. So, here's my thing with the Old World. To answer your question directly, no, I don't have an army, nor do I have a hard plan for one. However, the reason I didn't have a hard plan for one was because I did not think anyone in the area played. However, I recently learned that there actually is a regular group. So... my plan is to go to the group one night, and just kind of vibe check. Always in this year of 2025, it's important to do a vibe check, but provided everyone seems cool, I would love to hang out and would absolutely be willing to invest time and resources into an army for it. I don't know what army I would play, though. I don't want to do High Elves, although that was what I did when I first started forever ago. Went straight for High Elves because they were the half the Island of Blood set. I don't know. I don't know enough about how the different factions played back then, but if you are someone who does know the Old World and would be willing to chat, we could probably have a discussion about it. I think I probably, let's see. Because not all the armies are in there, right? I'm trying to think. Or not all the armies from Fantasy Battles are now in the Old World. I'm trying to remember which ones are. Let me go to the Games Workshop page here. Horus Heresy, Old World. Show you what I'm seeing here. Armies of the Old World. We got Dwarfen, Mountain Holds, Empire of Man, Orc and Goblin tribes. I do have Warriors of Chaos. Yeah. Okay. Just not... Oh, okay. So they're all there, just not all of them are specifically in the books at the moment. How are these guys? Tomb Kings. Very interesting. This was one of the armies that drew me to Fantasy Battles initially. Mostly for the Sepulchral Stalkers. I thought they were really cool models, but I also like the idea of just the colors mixed with death stuff. That's why I also like the Thousand Suns. So I'll tell you what, I don't have any plans necessarily, but if the group is cool, I'd be willing to spend some time and throw some energy at a Tomb Kings force. Why not? I like how it says steps 1 through 15 for all variants, and this whole construction of his body was still just step 1. The ones that aren't have free rules online, so that's actually a bonus. Hey, there you go. So yeah, I'm not like I know some people are somewhat intimidated by the game, and it can be. I guess for me, it was just the idea of like, well, I already have a rank and flank game, which is Conquest, and I would like to get a group going here locally for that. But they are different kinds of experiences, um, which is good, like in a good way. 13. Let's see. I think I would probably choose dwarfs or tomb kings. Even if they all have armies, right? Like, let's say like Lizardmen are there. Oh, wood elves, right? Wood elves, they're pretty cool. Wood elves never gripped me, but I don't know. But I'm not like, I find like, yeah, a lot of the detraction from the game comes from just it can be very overwhelming to start because it doesn't quite have the same ease of access as other games and smaller variants and whatever. But man, I still have my Warhammer Skirmish book right over here, and I'm like, I want to be able to play all the missions out of that. That's only like a box or two of every faction models, and you could play every mission out of that. That sounds highly tempting. It's a solid plan. Where I live, to my knowledge, there's only one interested in fantasy in general. I got super into 6th edition around a year ago, and finding anyone to play with a small game is hard. Yeah. While building terrain. Oh, hey, Cursling. Well, hey, buddy. Thank you so much for listening. I'll tell you what, Cursling, if you have any questions or topics you'd like discussed, drop them in the chat, and I will make sure we do that so that when you are listening later, hearing what you want. Talking to you. And that goes for anybody. If there's any conversation you would like me to wax on about while you do your hobby, please just drop it in the chat. This is just open season. I just wanted something to do while building. Okay. This little ridge here seems unnecessary, but all right. I will avoid it. Every once in a while. It doesn't happen as much anymore as it used to, but there is every once in a while in a GW kit where you're like, guys really couldn't have just sculpted that on there, huh? Really just... The power of technology was just way out there, huh? 15, 16... Hi Chief, just about to settle in for a bit of hobby here. Homebrew Space Marine chapter called the Red Lions, based off the Scottish flag. The Red Lion Rampart on a yellow field. Very cool. Did you submit that to the Pop Goes the Monkey contest, or do you know what I'm talking about? A company I buy bits from, Pop Goes the Monkey. I had put a video out recently that they're doing a lore contest. And would absolutely recommend you jump in with that. Goes to the end of the month. Right now, we're just in a chill period. I'm going to do a dedicated lore video for the winner. But we're just waiting until the end of the month for all the entries to be in. Hello there, working on Necromunda. Nice. I adore some Necromunda. that was my first like I guess game that I felt was crunchy. You know what I mean? Like in terms of stats and rolling for, well, mutations in some parts, but like, you know, random effects and no idea, but it sounds cool. Oh yeah, if you go to my channel and check out the most recent videos, there's one it says $500 prize. Basically, so he makes custom bits. Pop Goes the Monkey is the name of the store. His name's Matt. He's a wonderful person. And he hit a 10-year anniversary this month, at the end of the month rather. And so he wanted to just do something special, so he's doing like a lore contest. He has both like we'll say non-IP infringing equivalents of chapter iconography, but also a bunch of his own custom stuff. And so the contest was, of course, to make more of his own custom stuff. Yeah, you enter your lore in there, and then the winner gets a $500 gift certificate to his store, so that you can then turn that into, you know, the shoulder pads and the iconography and all that kind of stuff. So you can basically bring your army design to real life. Highly recommend. Pop Goes the Monkey. It's also on their homepage, their store, if you just want to go check them out. But for my Horus Heresy army, all of my leaders are made of bits from those guys. I have one standard leader, and that's my Terminator champion, because I love that model. But all the rest of them, I have a comms guy, 2 apothecaries that are frickin' sweet looking. I haven't played a game yet, but the rules seem fun. Yes, they are. They are quite a bit of fun. I expressed to someone in a local group, I was like, you know, I want to play this game with you guys, but it just seems so overwhelming. And the great piece of advice he gave me was that use the rule, like, the core of the game engine is very simple. You activate a dude to get 2 actions. Everything else from there is... it's just a matter of figuring out, like, does this affect Y? Does this affect Z? What's the exceptions to the rules? And so, like, once I started looking at it that way of just not worrying about memorizing every rule in the game, but rather just memorizing the core rules, and then if some guy's on fire, then I'll pop open the fire section or whatever. Just kind of had to get more comfortable with, like, no, just know the core stuff, because the rest of the book is just exceptions to that. Let's see what there's there. Okay, so we got some feetsies. Okay, let me just grab the tail here. We can knock out a few parts at once. It's a, hey Doug, have you built Slanesh stuff before? If so, how do you like it? Enjoyable? Really interested myself. Finding the Hedonites and Emperor's Children hard to resist. I had no problem with the Demonettes. I'm going to tell you, we're going to have a parent-child chat about building your first Hellflayer chariot. Basically, each one of those blades is an individual part. And it's not a diss on the model. The model is actually quite a bit of fun. It will take you longer to build than you anticipate. So it's not a bad build. just block out some time. Be prepared for slow progress when it comes to those in particular. But other than that, I had no trouble building. I'm trying to think of the various models. I remember some of the new Hedonite stuff, the mortal side of things. Some of the models, they went together well, but like you couldn't tell immediately how they snapped together. Or like how things lined up. I had some trouble getting one of the archers and his arms right. That's the only model though I can really think of that had a problem. The other ones were all simple. It's just, you know, thematically agonizing to build the elf layer lawnmower man. Sorry, the man mower, that's what I meant to say. Yes, I briefly had a... I always liked the... chariot and mounted stuff for Slaanesh. I was never super into like just demonettes. That wasn't really my jam. I get the wrong foot. No, it looks right. It just doesn't feel like it fits right. Okay. I also need you need like one box, maybe a weapon sprue, and you're done for Necromunda. Yeah. In theory, I mean, people who get really into it get really, really into it. Like, I find that is the last words of many a broken man. You only need one box to play, and then like you're all of a sudden your whole workstation is covered in Necromunda. The kids are gone. I'm just kidding, but like, yes, no, it's a great entryway because it's true. It only really requires it, and certainly when you're starting a campaign, like if you were like, hey, we're all going to start different factions and jump in together. You are absolutely correct. Week 1, everyone just build a box of dudes. And it will not matter until like week 5 or 6, right? Of like starting to look at alternate builds, replacements, that kind of stuff. Especially if you stick to classic Necromunda rather than what do they call it? Ash Wastes. The expansion where you go outside and get vehicles, which I mean, I've heard nothing but great things about it. It's just another level of commitment for models and stuff like that that people should be able to make. Thanks for the advice. Spearhead looks really cool. Yes, I think that was the unit I was talking about, the Bliss Barb Archers. Okay, now here's the moment to decide. Mouth open or mouth closed? I'm feeling mouth closed. Yes, Necromunda is just a wonderful game to get lost in. Just tons of cool little books they made, I think, a while back. At least there was a series of short stories, if I'm not mistaken. Set in Necromunda. There's been a couple of video games, although I can't speak to their quality. I don't play a ton of games. Unless they're like, 15 years old. That seems to be kind of my MO. I'll play it right when everybody's kind of done talking about it. You go, oh my god, have you guys heard of this game called State of Decay? It's really cool. Trying to think if there are any spearheads that really interest me. Unrelated, I do think this October I'm going to try to make it out to Dragonfall, which is a 2-day event here in the Midwest. I'd like to try and make that. It'd be really cool. I want to get see if I can get some tournament games in beforehand, so I'm not walking in like a baby seal looking to go clubbing, but see how it goes. Oh wow, okay. I didn't point out his head really does just snap right together. I like that. We'll see. I don't know. My list is this big chonkin' boy is going to be a Lord Celestin on Dracoth. I have 4 concussors on Dracoline or whatever. Big brick of Liberators, and it's just going to be a matter of securing objectives. I really need to get the rust off though, because I'm Okay. Now we're starting to put them onto stuff. This kind of picture just had him like, and now there's a rock under his foot. What? Mm-hmm. 19. Star Drake got it without being that guy who asks for the 15th time halfway through. Ha! That's funny. It is, in fact, a Star Drake. Yes, I asked my group recently, like, what's a... I'm looking at all these Stormcast lists online, right? Like, not to net list, but to see, like, okay, what are synergies that seem to be working for people, right? Like, what are people looking at? Because we have a more competitive group. I've mentioned that before, but rather than fight the wind, I choose to lean in now. I'm going to try anyway. And seems to be everyone's like really hot on either Krondis or Karazai, usually a lot of Karazai. Like, okay. So obviously it's a big thing in the middle of the board that does nothing but kill. Like, that's all he does. What else can we do that's not named that hopefully at one point can sit in the middle of the board and just kill stuff like he does? Give me the Temu version of Karazai. And the Lord Celestant on Star Drake answered. And he said, I am Karazai that we have back at the Storm Vault or whatever. Which Scourge of Ghiran update that we've not had yet are you most looking forward to? Oh, in terms of, like, you know, what I think the army needs or whatever. That's a really good question. What have we not had yet that I'm looking forward to? I want to say Sylvaneth, not because I feel like they need a ton, or like this is some desperate situation where it's like this army is just being forgotten all the time. But rather, somehow here I have an extra leg. I must have missed a step. Give me one sec. Aha. Okay, so this is that leg. I did miss a step. That's okay. Let me get some of these other ones on just to get them out of the way, and then we would go backwards. Like, looking at them, like, that just does not line the heck up. I think I'm more interested in Sylvaneth, again, not because they need anything specifically, but because I'm the most interested in what are some cool takes on them? How can they be interesting? Certainly if they're going to be a titular part of this, right? You're in Ghiran, that's their home. What do they contribute to the story? Of course, those are like lore-based questions instead of rules-based questions. But, like, I would imagine that they're going to have a special spotlight if this is happening in Ghiran. If for no other reason than Alariel's in their army roster and nobody else's. where's the leg Doug missed? Oh, hey, there's the cap. Use that. Okay. I don't know what rules I'd like to see. Is that Radiohead in the background? Yes, this is my grunge music, but it's lo-fi covers playlist. It's my favorite thing to hobby to. It's my happy place. Yep. Almost messed up his hand real good, but we saved it. And okay, now we're back on track. So just take this arm and this broken bunch of junk. Yes, yes. And now we flip to the other side, where we've got 24, 25. Okay, we're back on track now. Slight detour in my brain. For me, I don't know. They've never really tied, like they've had settings for the various GHBs before, but they haven't really tied like a mega narrative to them, which is what they make it seem like they're doing. So I'm interested to follow along. Six. I don't know. It's tough. Whenever they put their best foot forward for starting a new edition, it's rough because they rarely have follow-up. So what I mean by that is, like, what else has been going on in the Great Parch that had a hole torn through it and stuff like that? Like, I don't know. I'd like to know. What Stormhost am I doing this time? Oh, I am continuing my Knights Excelsior, the white armored Stormcast. I didn't sell everything last time. Mostly what I sold off was old sculpts and stuff like that. Like I did have some stuff in there that was newer, but stuff I didn't really care for. For example, I tend to like the old prosecutors more than the new ones. I really like that Art Deco style. So stuff like that. So what I have now is essentially a big block of Liberators, and I got this boy as well as 2 boxes of Concussors, the Drake Riders, like the ground Drake Riders with the big hammers. Yeah, that's the plan. So it should look great. I love that scheme because it paints up very quickly and it just looks good. You guys haven't seen them? I got one back here I can show. So you got a nice white armor. Basically what I do is prime them with Grey Seer or Wraithbone, if you want a warmer or colder version. Douse them in Apothecary White Contrast. Go back over with the paint that I've been using as the main like body panel paint is actually Trooper White by Duncan Rhodes, the 2 thin coats Brandy has. It's like a really nice, not quite perfect white, which is great for armor specifically. So like think Stormtroopers, where they're not, it's white, but there's kind of a dullness to it that makes it seem incomplete. There we go. Let's see. I'm the same with the Flyboys. Not a fan of the Flaming Wings. 100% agree. Second ed stuff for me is better than third and fourth. You know, I like the second ed stuff a lot. Third did nothing for me. The Era of the Beast, it just didn't. None of the stuff truly gripped me, with the exception of the Chariots, right? That's when we got the Chariots, I think. But yeah, I tend to agree, where it's just like, I feel like we were at our height of being Lightning Paladins with the Storm Chamber being unleashed, all the wizards and stuff. I can't think of the name right now. But like, Sacrosanct, there we go. So I felt that way. I'm like, but now I feel like we're back to you know, Tragic Heroes, which I love. Tragic Heroes is great. It's just not the same. Like they felt like lightning paladins when they had the cool robes. When I saw Sakura saying stuff like, "This is what I envisioned." When we first heard the rumors about what Age of Sigmar was and Fantasy Battles was still around, of like, yeah, the main guys are moving away from Empire of Man, and instead it's going to be focused on these lightning dudes. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's like Sigmar's zealots and stuff like that. Those are the kind of the rumors I was hearing. I was like, okay, I like that this is cooking. Oh, sad day. That's okay. We'll get the leg on first. Yeah, okay. All right. We got most of a Drake done. While that hunk of plastic is drying, I'm going to start working ahead on the wings. Gotta go. Catch up soon. Hey. Let's see. I'm looking forward to new rules or spells for Tzeentch, but I don't expect Tzeentch to advance the narrative at all. This is so first season Realm Gate Wars. Yeah, I still maintain that Tzeentch had one of the best army reveals ever, which was it was after the Cities of Order, or the Forces of Order, won the Seeds of Hope campaign, right? Global narrative campaign where we got to decide what's happening in the realms. So the good guys won, but what I loved about it is they left it on sort of this weird, ominous victory where it's like, yeah, I mean, they went out and they conquered all the things. Good for them. Drinks all around. They left a big hole open in their ranks at home, and somebody was all too willing to fill that hole. And I was just like, oh, snap. And that's when we started getting introduced to the idea of these cults infiltrating the cities now that they're big enough to be infiltrated. That was our first inkling, like, oh crap, even the cities. Because then we had Cities of Secrets come out. I think that was Nick Horth? Can't remember his name. But yeah. It was good stuff. It was a good narrative time. Does anyone here in the chat play Horus Heresy? Horus Heresy is mainly the reason why I'm not super intimidated by the old world. Because they use a lot of the same concepts in terms of, not like obviously with model placement, but the same older game design logic of like, you know, finding rules inside of things. Working out how turn order and sequencing works, a bajillion universal special rules, that kind of stuff. I've not read Callus and Toll books where they tackle Zinch cults, but the latest one was a good read. Nice. The Callus and Toll books are great. I think that they've been used a lot more as plot devices in battle tomes. If you've seen a lot of these new edition battle tomes, they will have like notes and stuff from either notes from Callus to Toll or one of those two characters writing back to someone kind of explaining what they've seen, and they make for really good perspectives to seeing how normal people think about things. Which I do feel like the system or the setting has been lacking ever since they moved away from cities or Empire of Man being the main focal point, the lens through which we see things. Coming together. I am loving it. So these directions are interesting, and if you know the answer, please let me know in the chat. But I'm looking at this, and it says for this part of the wing, right? You have the wing, you have the dude, and then you have a choice of these two parts here. And I'm assuming that these are where the wings mount, so they would allow you to change the angles. Is that correct? Like they would sit differently depending on which part you pick. Let's try, because this looks nothing more than cosmetically different. Grab two and see what they do. See what the difference is. Okay, I am correct. They do sit differently now. It's just a matter of trying to figure out which version I actually like, because I kind of have to dry fit it a little bit to... Sorry, I'm just trying to go back and forth between these two little nubbins to decide which nubbin I like. So one has the wing down by his side, like dramatically down by his side, and the other one... I think we'll go with this one. I keep checking it. I'm like, huh. Go. Okay, I got it lined up, and so I just decided to glue it straight there. We'll let this joint dry together, and we'll grab the other one and do kind of the same thing. Forgive me, I'll be back to the chat here in just a second. I'm trying to see how this particular arm lines up here. Okay, so that would go like this. And hopefully this one will hold it down a little bit lower. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay. There was two. One of them kind of held it outward and down a smidge, a little bit lower than what I wanted. I'm looking for a lean profile because this fat boy has to go inside of a case. I don't know about you guys. Shoving these big old models into cases is about the bane of my existence, so... Okay, got that figured out. And let's put them on the base. He's looking pretty good. Sweet. All right, friends. I think I'm going to go ahead and pop off here. Got my afternoon ahead of me. I think I'm going to be doing some more hobby and, oh, here we go. Video recording stuff later on today. Hopefully have this guy built by tonight. It's gaming night. And keep painting away at Marcher stuff. Hope you were able to get some hobby in. I had a good time. And I'll hang out with you the next time we do a hobby hangout. And then this Saturday, I'm doing my next Conquest paint along league thing. Even though I didn't paint any of it here today, I'm still crushing it in the background. So thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will catch you all very soon. Happy wargaming, friends.